Alright, what's up everyone? My name's Amog and with me here is Arnav, and today we're going to be doing a villains tier list. Now, we're not doing all the villains exactly, but we're going to be doing kind of, the main villains in the show. So like, you can see here we've got Samukai, Pythor, we've got all these main villains, right? So we don't want to do any of these background villains. We might do another video with the background villains, but for now we're just going to be doing the main villains. So let's get right into it. First up, we've got Samukai, and honestly, say what you want about Samukai being an OG villain and all, but he wasn't really that good a villain. Like, if I'm being honest, he didn't have the intellect and backstory that all the other villains had. So, I'm thinking I might put him at C. Alright, Arnav, what do you think about Pythor?
Okay, so for Pythor, he was a decent villain.
Yeah.
He had a good backstory, and he was pretty intelligent. And he was also trapped for 50 years, so there's also that.
Yeah.
He was like the first Ninjago villain, which I was actually afraid of.
Yeah.
So I personally put him at B.
Alright, yeah. B, I agree. Alright, who do we got next? Oh, Kozu. Ooh, this guy's the Stone Army guy. The main thing I liked about Kozu is that he had a pretty good build-up in the show. And, I mean, what I mean by that is, like, as the episodes, like, progressed, you kind of got more scared of the Stone Army, like, after hearing stories about them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then finally, when they came back, you were, like, actually terrified of them. Like, it was pretty much a good climax, I think. So, I'm gonna put Kozu at B as well. I think he was a solid villain. Alright.
Okay, so Cryptor.
Yeah, ooh.
He is an interesting villain.
Yeah.
So, the season that Cryptor came in, which was season 3, rebooted, it was pretty good, and he was a good villain in it. He and all the other Ninjroids were also incredibly designed. Again, they were robots, and they had lots of armor, and he was pretty smart because, again, he's a robot. So I put him at B.
Alright, yeah, that's good. Alright, who do we got next? Oh, Master Chen. Alright. I'm gonna be real honest with you here, Arnav. Master Chen was my favorite villain. Like, he was the best villain, hands down, in the whole show.
I agree.
Yeah, he had a lot of importance, especially to Sensei Garmadon. All that backstory, all that lore, it all started to come together in Season 4. And in Season 4, the story is just absolutely amazing. And it's only because of Master Chen and the development of all the characters. So, I think, Arnav, we found our first S tier.
Very true. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Our next villain is Moro. And again, Moro, he was one of those pretty good villains.
Oh,
one of the best.
Yeah.
He was like Master Chen. He had so much importance to Sensei Wu this time instead of Lord Garmadon.
Yeah.
And him possessing Lloyd was also a really good choice because the ninja first lost all their powers.
Yeah.
And we see how this reflects the characters within.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right.
He was also pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
And they also efficiently introduced another elemental master to the list.
Oh, that's right.
So I think...
Yeah, you got all the elemental masters in Season 4.
Which are good, and now we got a bad one.
Now you've got an evil one.
Exactly.
I think it works. You're right.
I think we put it at A.
A? Alright, that's good. I like that. Ooh.
Yeah, we got it.
Nadakan. Alright. Okay, so, Nadakan, he's an S tier. And I'm gonna say this right now, okay? It's very difficult to come up with a story with, like, folklore and fairy tales, trying to implement that. But, I mean, I think the creators of Ninjago, they did that pretty well. Like, they took a children's story of a genie in a bottle and they turned it into a villain that's, like, actually to be feared. And Nadakan was also very, like, cunning and smart because he not only outsmarted the ninja, but he outsmarted his pirate crew as well.
Yeah.
He had his own agendas, so we're putting him at S.
Yeah, he has to go to S. Okay, now this next one. Okay, we're gonna rate Crux and the Chronics together because they are the Hands of Time. I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not like these guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they had incredible potential. Their powers were unbelievable. They were so powerful.
Yeah.
But they had so many opportunities to get rid of the ninja, but they just didn't capitalize on it. Like.
Yeah.
So many times they could have, but they just didn't. So I think we gotta put them at D. We found our first bad villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And they they also had like those Vermilion Warriors too,
Exactly.
right?
And
Yeah,
they could be
they had the Vermilion Warriors. They could have done so much stuff with the Vermilion Warriors that,
exactly.
and not to mention, like being able to fast forward and like pause
Slow-mo
time,
or
slow
yeah.
down. I
Those
mean,
are just
that's just
unbelievable powers. Oh,
yeah,
Master Wu and Garmadon could barely beat them with their powers.
yeah. But at the end of the season, we did see Master Wu disappear in the
Yes.
vortex of time.
We
I think
did.
I think the season overall was okay.
Okay, yeah, but since
I
we're
d-
rating the individual villains,
I don't think the villains were that good.
Yeah.
You see character development in the ninja, but you don't
That's-
quite see much in the villains themselves.
yes.
So I think D is a good choice.
All right. So our next one is, Garmadon.
Ooh, uh, Garmadon. I don't know. We gotta. I don't know. Garmadon was actually kind of a great villain. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when they first introduced him in season 1, season 2, you know, I quite liked him. He was a decent villain. And adding on to that, when Lloyd became the Green Ninja, and we found out that, you know, his dad is the main villain. I mean that was absolutely the pinnacle of Ninjago, I think.
Pretty tense.
But I don't know. I feel like I got kind of annoyed that that he kept coming back. You know, he like died, then he was resurrected, then he became good, or good, I would say in quotes. I don't know.
Like basically, what really happened? He was bad. Then he became good, and then he died. Then he became bad, and then good. Like you guys are they're just trying to repeat.
Yeah,
the thing.
it kind of got boring, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like just because he was introduced so effectively as such a good villain at the beginning, I would put him at B.
I agree.
Okay.
All right. So for our next one, we have Harumi. Okay. All right.
Harumi.
Harumi was very clever.
Yeah.
She befriended Lloyd and was able to trick him, but she didn't
Yeah.
capitalize on all the moments where she could have taken out all the ninja.
Yeah.
She would have been in a solid B tier, but since the events
Yeah.
have crystallized, she was resurrected by the Crystal King, and like that was just unnecessary. Like you don't need to bring her back. It was effective already with her being gone in season 9, but her just coming back again, it just didn't make sense.
Right. It's kind of the same idea as Garmadon. She just like kept coming back with
Yeah.
her same old evil agenda, right?
So I'd say she's a C.
C tier? Yeah,
Yep.
I would agree. Okay, there we go. All right. Woo. Iron Baron. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like this guy. All right.
Yeah, I do too.
He was decent. Okay. He was kind of clever. And you know the season itself had a good story, and it was all because of Iron Baron. And that was one of the seasons where you did kind of see two separate stories
Happening
where,
at the same time.
yeah. So you have a few of the ninja going in one realm,
And
and a few of the
them-
ninja staying in one realm.
Exactly.
You know, I kind of like that. I like that concept where there were two villains that didn't necessarily team up, but they had their own agendas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you kind of have two separate stories that go on there. The problem with Iron Baron, and I mean, I guess you could say this for most of the villains, but he relied so heavily on his henchmen. Okay,
Yeah.
he relied on his henchmen so much that when what's her name, Faith, when
Yeah.
she turned, I mean, it was pretty much over for him. That's pretty much why all the ninja were able to escape. He relied so much on them that even if one of them became traitor, then it was pretty much over. So I would say B.
I
B
would
tier.
agree, yeah, B. Alright, so our next one is Omega. Okay,
Ooh.
Oni. First time Oni came in,
Yeah.
but like I'm gonna have to put him really low on this list because they got taken out in 4 episodes. Like what happens?
Yeah, I mean,
Oni were supposed to be the most powerful beings Ninjago has ever seen. Yet they were like pretty bad because they came in they were only seen in 2 episodes, and all the ninja had to do was a tornado of creation and they were gone.
yeah.
They didn't fully show his power and ability. If they would have spent more time on it, maybe like 5-6 more episodes, he would have become a great villain. But I'm gonna have to put him on C.
C?
Yeah.
Alright, I agree. And this is kind of what happened with most of these guys too. Even with the Nindroids, like at first it showed them to be really strong and really powerful, but then they kind of just ended up like being like, oh, nothing. You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, I would put him at C as well. Alright, who we got now? Oh, Aspir.
Aspir.
Okay, alright. In all honesty, okay, Aspira, I didn't really like her. Okay? Aspira is a solid C, alright? And here's why. She's one of those characters that like is absolutely useless without her power. And I mean most of these guys are like that, but when you look at a lot of these guys, especially like maybe Moro or what's his name? Crux or Chronix, you see character in them. Right? Even without their power, you can see character in those characters. But with Aspira, all she was about was fire, and there was like absolutely nothing that could be done to remodel or shape her character.
Exactly at the very beginning. So she had powers. She had spell powers.
Yeah.
But the one thing I never fully got hold of was why did she take Kai's power? Because right when she took Kai's power, she just stopped using her own power, which doesn't make sense.
Right.
She should use her own with Kai's fire.
That's right. I feel like kind of the same thing as Crux and Chronix. She didn't really use all her powers to her maximum potential. And I mean, going along with this, I mean, it's kind of on an unrelated topic, but you kind of do see character development in Kai because he doesn't have his powers,
Exactly.
He's angry. I mean, you get good character development out of Kai, but not so much out of Aspira. So I feel like a solid C.
I'd agree. Alright, so next we have the Ice Emperor.
Oh.
I'm going to say easy A.
Yeah.
This was the first season, I think, that we got Zane as a bad guy. And he just had, first of all, he ruled over for 6 decades because time works differently in the Neverrealm. But he had such good powers, and he made sure that he took over an entire kingdom worth of guards and just turned it to his own, which is also pretty amazing.
That's right. Again, going back to that character development.
So you see all the other ninja trying to convert him back, and he gets sometimes flashbacks, which is what we want to see in good villains.
Exactly. That's exactly why I love that season, because you were able to see the conflict between the friends. I mean, I very much like the Ice Emperor. What are we putting him at? A?
Yeah, I think A.
I like A as well. That's a good one. Alright.
Now Vex. This is the man.
This guy, alright, he's at A alongside the Ice Emperor, because he's pretty much the whole reason for everything, right? Yeah. He caused the Ice Emperor's reign in total.
Yeah.
I feel like Vex, he's probably smarter than all the villains on this list.
Pretty much.
Because I don't know. I feel like
he had agenda. He was quoted Vex the Formless. He was the only one in his tribe who couldn't turn into an animal.
Yes.
So he was like, I must get everyone back. So he had motive as well.
Yeah.
And it worked for him. This is the first time we actually see a villain that works for them for like 3, 4, 5 decades.
Yeah, you do see that kind of need for and thirst for revenge.
Exactly.
Solid A.
I'd agree.
Solid A.
Okay. Right. Ungami.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
Ungami,
that's good.
The season, it was okay. I love the whole digital idea and there being a digital villain. But the very ending, the most climactic scene, Ungami got out and he went to his maker. But all that happened was his maker just said, please come back, and he came back. There was no real fight, except for 2 dragons clashing for like 4 minutes. That was the whole build-up of those 16 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to say a B. He would have been an A, but if they had shown a bit more with the character.
Yeah. I feel like that season also was kind of like repetitive. I mean, I like that they put Jay on the spotlight again.
Exactly.
I mean, it was the first time since, season 6 with Nauticon?
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of like that they put him back on the spotlight, because for a while it's been just like, Lloyd. He's been on the spotlight over and over and over again. But now they're switching it up, so I really like that they got that character development within Jay as well. Alright, who we got next? Skull Sorcerer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna be real honest. I could guess from the first episode, and from the first time I watched it, I could guess from the first episode that king was the Skull Sorcerer.
Vangelis, yeah, he was not discreet about it.
Absolutely not.
They all
Man was disappearing, like, randomly, right? he had like it was an island, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was an island. How do you not know?
He can't just leave and no one sees him.
Exactly. So I feel like he wasn't very discreet about it, and that's really what gave him away.
Exactly.
I feel like if he was more discreet about it, if he was able to, I don't know, more effectively hide his identity,
Yeah.
he would have definitely gotten away with some of his wrongdoings.
I agree.
All right.
I think
He's
mid.
Yeah,
C.
he's going to C.
Alright, so next we have Chief Midas. So
Ooh.
Chief Midas, again, it wasn't a 4-episode thing, so it kind of takes it like it was for the March of the Oni and Omega. But
Yeah.
he was a good guy, but he just wanted to make sure no one stole the artifacts that he was trying to protect. But I think he went too much about it. Like, I get he's supposed to be stopping it for centuries. No one should be able to get it. But if someone shows up to their island, that doesn't mean they're going to take him prisoner. So he just didn't have that good character development, and we only saw him for only like 20 minutes of the entire show, and then he disappears. So
Ooh.
just you don't see him that often. So I'd say he's C.
I kind of agree. I feel like someone who doesn't really show up that much in the show for like you said for 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get much character development out of that, and that's kind of the same thing that happened in season 5 with the Preeminent. You saw the Preeminent for like what 20 minutes. The Preeminent didn't change anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely
They're just like,
not.
oh look, it's another realm, and then bye, it's gone.
Yeah. All right. Who do we got next?
Oh, we got Calar.
Oh, Calar.
Okay, so Calar, this was the first season in which Neo was the main character. It was like
Oh yes.
pretty amazing for a lot of Ninjago fans because Neo has been most requested for her to be leader of the season.
Yeah.
So, but Calar, okay, first of all, underwater species, okay, and he had some sort of motive. He wanted to conquer the surface dwellers. So he had literally behind his father's back established an entire network for people who were with him, who agreed with him, so that when his father died, he would take control of the army and attack the overworld. He was also trying to awaken Wajira, Wajira is a sea serpent who is basically like the Great Devourer, but in the ocean, you could say.
Yeah.
So I'd say he's a solid B. And another thing that he did, like, which was completely surprising, like, he established a coup against his own king, which was his dad.
Yeah.
He killed him.
That's
like,
right.
why?
That's right. No, I think personally that's something that makes a good villain.
I was gonna put him at C, but because he was willing to go against his father.
No,
to get what he wanted.
So I feel like this season was not only you saw character development in him. Like over time, you saw him grow more rebellious.
Yes.
More of like I'm gonna do what I want to do,
even with his flashbacks.
That's right. That's right.
That's why I'm gonna put him at a B.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Who's next? Oh. Okay. All right. Overlord. I mean.
Crystal King.
Yeah.
Basically
Crystal.
the same guy.
Yeah. They're the same. Okay. I don't want to hear it. All right. They're the same. Same thing that happened with Garmadon, right? He kept coming back, even with Harumi. You know, she's coming back over and over again. Same evil agenda, right? Now the Overlord. I mean, I would have actually put him at D because it was annoying how many times he was coming back. But if I'm being completely honest though, I feel like each form, the way that it changed, I kind of like that. I kind of like that it wasn't like he had the same powers every time, or he had, the same. I mean, he had the same evil agenda, but
at least his powers changed.
At least his powers changed, and also his personality.
Yeah.
Not just because
he became from helping Lord Garmadon take over everything for him doing it himself.
Yeah.
He actually got people to do it for him.
So instead of a D, we're rating him a C.
Yeah.
I mean, still he's okay.
Yeah,
but
he's okay. He's at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, this goes on with the same March of the Oni and Chief Midas. The great Empress Beatrix, you only saw her for about 10 to 12 minutes in the entire so far Dragon's Rising.
Yeah.
Because you just never see her. Because why would she go out? And she relied a lot on henchmen to do it, so you almost never see her. So you can't get good character development on a character who you rarely see.
Right. It was just like Iron Baron. I was gonna say, like, you cannot see character development. Forget the villains. You cannot see character development in other people because of this person. Like that's
exactly. The only reason I rated a B is because of her agenda being so different that she wants to take all dragons everywhere. Now that all the realms have been merged, she is sending people out using strategy, planning to take out as many dragons as they can and attack the ninjas.
Yeah.
So she actually doesn't fear the ninja, which many villains do.
Yeah. I feel like her different motives, that was what made the season somewhat interesting. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I think B is a good choice there.
Yeah, I agree.
Who do we got next?
Okay, we got Lord Ross. And now this man, he looks like he's from Chima.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he does.
I'm gonna rate him C. He's mid. We see him a lot in the show, but he doesn't have that much character development. All we see is him doing the bidding of the good Empress.
Yeah.
So we don't actually see him do his own agenda. He has no motive. He's basically more like a side villain. But the only reason he's on this list as main villains is he's the actual one we see a lot more in Dragon's Rising.
Yeah.
From the very start to the very end, he always has the same thing. So that's why I'm putting him at a C.
Yeah. I got nothing to add. I mean, it was kind of the same thing. I would put him at C as well. All right, that's all our main villains. I don't know. I think our list seems
Pretty fair. I'd
yeah.
say.
I would say it seems pretty fair. But if you have any ideas or changes to this list that you want to make sure you leave a comment down below and leave some reasoning too,
because we gotta understand
understand your opinion. But yeah, if you like this video and you want more videos like this where we rank
Ninjago characters or even other Lego themed characters,
yeah, then make sure you hit subscribe and like the video as well.
and we'll see you all next time.
All right, peace.